Just waiting for this to load up. Let's you on record. Hi everyone, Ian Smith at TheStrategySmith. So the live this week is going out a little bit later. Yesterday I was networking all day and on an evening as well. I thought the inspiration for this live is to give you some answers to the questions that I received whilst I was networking yesterday. What is strategy? What is it you do? How can it be applicable to any business? And how is a 24-hour project management office, how is that possible? So what I'm aiming to do for this session is answer, in my opinion, what strategy is and should be for any business. Also understand the customer value equation as well. So what happens between selling and buying, then understanding a definite purpose for the business, putting that into a plan and taking action. And we'll cover the 6 steps of the go-to-market strategy that's covered in my book as well, the 6 steps to grow your business. This is going out on LinkedIn, on YouTube. If you want to watch it anywhere live, you can watch it on YouTube, but it'll be on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So let's dive in. So what is strategy? So what I explained very simply was, in order for strategy to be made real, to get away from the stigma that strategy is Google, PowerPoints, and spreadsheets, you have to make it real. So for any business delivering any product or any service, they have to have a definite purpose. And what that means is, what is it that they're aiming to achieve? What is success defined as for this business? Whether it's a vision, an ambition, an objective, or a goal, they have to have a definite purpose in order for them to understand that, one, what success looks like when they arrive at the end of the rainbow, so to speak, and how can they measure effectively that what they're delivering in their business or in your business, in your product with your service. How can you prove that your purpose is being fulfilled? You've got to have one in the first place. You need to be able to plan. And for me, as equally important as having a purpose and a plan is being able to put that into action. So you'll see that taking action and take action now, and all of these phrases, I use the word action on purpose so that you can take something tangible away from these sessions and put them into action. So you have a definite purpose. You understand how to formulate a plan, which we'll cover in detail later. And the most important thing then is you can put that into action. Your purpose should be unique to you. That's what makes it strategic and tactical in your industry, your target market, and your uniquity of delivering that value to your customers. And that brings me on to the next question, to make this transferable and tangible in any company that sells products or services, or a combination of both. There's something that happens from the customer when you're selling something. When you are selling a service, when you're selling a product, there's a reason why the customer takes money from their pocket and puts it into yours. And what I say to all businesses is that what happens between selling and buying is something that's so unique to you, because you have current customers within your business, and they've made a decision from the sales pitch, or from the product layout, or the aisle where they go and purchase their favorite product, the counter where they go and purchase their favorite coffee or favorite cake, for example. They purchase a service from you. because of this bit in between, and it's customer value. So how do you determine within your business what drives customer value? Your key data point and proof point from that is your own customers. And what I honestly ask is, when a business is wanting to achieve higher growth in revenue and profit, if they want to increase pricing, but don't know how their customers will feel when they do this, I ask, what happens between you selling something and your customers buying it? That'll give you the proof point of customer value that you can then take action on. You can do it again and again and again. Why did the customer buy this product or service from us? And you should ask your customers, why did you do that? What are the key value creators of you buying this product or service from us? It may be things like it's the best product. I can't get this product anywhere, which is fantastic. However, if someone does create the same product but delivers something better in between selling and buying, then they'll receive the same sales pitch, they can buy the same product, but the customer value is different, which changes their decision. And so in order for strategy to be successful and actionable, you need to determine what happens between selling and buying, and that's what drives customer value. So we have a purpose, plan to take action. We understand what drives customer value. Then more importantly, you can ask your own people. Your own people will have more touch points. If you're a decision maker or a leader, or even if you're an entrepreneur and you deal with partners, if you're selling a product or a service, the people who are doing the selling will have more touch points, and even delivering the service as well. If you're a service-driven business, will have more touch points with the customer than you do. And so it's important that, number one, you ask them what they determine customer value to be. You need to ask your leadership team and ask yourself what you feel customer value is as well. Make sure those two are as aligned as possible, especially they need to be aligned with what the customer tells you is the decision maker between selling and buying. Then you can ask your people what stops you from delivering this customer value. And they might say things like, this process takes too long. I'm spending more time in the office than I am with my customer. Or the coffee maker takes too long for me to be able to deliver a certain brand of coffee. And I think if we can deliver it quicker, we can not only sell more, but we can increase the price of it as well, because you've done something in between selling and buying. The customer will come to you because they're getting something different in between here. If they can be sold to from exactly the same place from your competitors, which we'll talk about in a second, they can buy the same product or similar product or service from another competitor. The differentiator is what happens between here, and it's customer value. Ask your customers, ask your people, ask your leadership team if there's a group, or ask your partners as well. Make sure that the customer value creators are all aligned. Ask your people what stops them from delivering that value. Ensure that they're not doing what stops them, and then that gives you the unique selling point, an actual unique selling. We talk about USPs and things like that. So this is a tangible, data-driven, proven, unique selling point that's unique to you because it's your people who are human beings that are delivering this and no one else can. That's why it's important to look after your people that are nailing this as well. So the strategic elements, these things should fit into a continuum. And because strategy, I feel, is evolving, and especially if you take action, you're going to need to learn from those actions. So once you've solved this equation, it may change by product or service, or by client, or when you get new people. If you're integrated a new business into yours, you need to ensure that whatever they're doing between here drives customer value from their perspective as well. So when you're taking action, you need to learn from direct feedback from where you can establish key proof points from customers, your people, and your partners or leadership teams. And so action is at the end of the continuum. And what you need to do here is, once you've taken action, is you then are able to choose what strategies and plans, projects, changes that you need to make within your business in terms of the services and products that you're delivering to execute what happens between selling and buying. If something's taken too long, a process, for example, in your company, then you can take action to make that process more efficient, to increase the customer value. So you've chosen what it is you need to do. And then you can analyze how to do it. So ACA, it's on purpose the same forwards and backwards, because once you've understood and analyzed customer value, you can choose which processes and projects and changes and businesses that you might want to buy to enhance this, or businesses that you might want to buy to get into a different market. Then you can take action. Background to choosing which is the best feedback to derive from the feedback that you've got from taking action, back into analysing, so purpose, plan, action, and into continuing. So strategy for me is establishing a definite purpose for your business, understanding from that purpose what drives customer value, so why, from there, does the customer take money from their pocket and put it into your pocket? Understand what drives customer value. And then it's a continuum of analysing, choosing, and taking action. As long as you have a definite purpose that reflects customer value, you can analyse, choose, and take action on those strategic plans, or for the purpose of this, the go-to market strategy. And that for me is strategy. This is always going to be unique to you, which is also what makes it strategic. You have your definite purpose, customer value, analyse, choose, action, choose, analyse, choose, action as a continuum. The most important thing with any of this is, for me, I mean, I'm a project manager. It's kind of like my craft. I can dive into any project. I can build any project, and it's not a boast. It's just something that I'm able to do. So I think that planning, you can plan pretty much everything, but the most important thing is the bookends, the purpose and the action, analysing and taking action, because without action, these things are just ideas. And that's what I need to get away from, and the message that I deliver when I talk about strategy. You have to be able to take action. You have to be able to choose from data-driven proof points, your customers, your people, your partners and leaders within your companies. And also you need to, if for example, you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that what you're choosing to take action on, because time is precious, is driven through customer value and your definite purpose. But you're only ever going to learn from doing any of that by taking action. And that's why that's what I determine strategy to be. That's how it's interchangeable and transferable for any business, from a solopreneur to a C-suite blue chip business. So that's strategy. Now, what I wanted to cover also was the project management office. So one thing that there are three things that I try and establish with a project management office. Is it's not a person. So I see job adverts, and I see people being referred to as a PMO. For me, a PMO can be a group of people. It can be a body. It's more and more of a virtual office now, a project management office. It's not a person. Two, it doesn't have to be an industry. So I'm going to go through quite a lot of things with a view to someone being able to watch this video who may be going through some form of change, or know that some form of change or project is needed, maybe to nail some of these strategic action points that I've just covered. And they'll be able to think, did I think of that, or do I need something like that in my project? It's, unless you get very large and complex, do you need every single point that I'm going to go through in creating a project management office quickly. And again, the third thing is, as long as you're monitoring risk and you have an acceptable appetite for risk within the project, it doesn't have to be a finalized plan before you're able to take some form of action to go back to this, to enrich your project management office and everything else. And that's That's what I think is very important. I've had to put in place global action plans within a matter of days that's been across 100 countries and 150 locations. And with my experience, I've gone through all of the things that I'm going to talk to you today, but not all of them was needed. And more importantly, not all of them was needed to be perfect before action could be taken, because we had a suitable appetite for risk and we understood how to monitor risk and take action when risks became apparent into issues, which I'll come on to in a second. So let's have some fun. We're going to go through what I would do, and this is, I've had less than 24 hours to prepare this. So this is just off the cuff, as if I've been asked, or someone has said, this is keeping me awake at night. So my kind of strapline is I help decision makers sleep at night. Someone mentioned yesterday, I'm like the Horlicks for decision makers in business. So if something is maybe between selling and buying, maybe you want to increase revenue, increase pricing, deliver some efficiencies to increase your margins. Maybe you want to grow organically. Maybe you want to buy a company, or maybe you bought a company and it's integrated, or maybe you're trying one or a few of those things all at once, or similarly something like that is happening, or you feel like something like that is going on in your business. It's not going very well, etc., etc. So you should be able to pick up this video and go through all of the questions that I'm going to go through as if I was going to take on some form of change or project. So I had a little bit of dialogue today with someone who's incredibly busy, mobilizing different accounts and going through different things within their day job. And what I'm thinking is, if, for example, if I needed to help that person and basically take everything, organize it and set it up so that we can manage it as a project, this is what I would do. So the first thing I would ask is, what does success look like? So from a project perspective, then this can be for a new product, it can be for a new business, it can be for a new service, it can be for a change that you need to deliver. What does success look like? What does utopia look like for you, and when? So the first thing I will ask is the why. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes we need to mobilize it. We've won some new business. We need to integrate this business. We need to transfer people, etc. Or we've been accepted to provide this product in these facilities, and we need to increase production. We need to get sort of supply chain. We need to do this. Sometimes the why is it can be the actual purpose, but what's important to establish when you're thinking of the why are key success factors. Now, I determine key success factors as what success looks like. We're going to come on to critical success factors further down the line. Critical success factors for me are what need to happen to ensure the success of the project. So if this doesn't happen, you won't meet the key success factors. So that's just terminology. There might be some variations in your PMIs, your APMs, Prince 2, etc. But that's how I determine the why. So for the why, what I will do, and again, don't need to make an industry out of it, but I will try and establish the SMART key success factors. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. There can be some variations in SMART. You can have assignable, you can have realistic as well, and relevant. Specific and measurable and time-bound are the only ones I've seen that haven't changed, but A&R sometimes can. But you want to establish some key success factors so you can determine what success looks like. So you'll have your key success factors. Then, if I'm going in cold, I'll ask who is involved. Various different levels within organizations, various different partners that you might be working with, key stakeholders in terms of interest and influence into the projects. So the who, just generally you will have clients, you will have sponsor, Sometimes clients can be the sponsors of projects as well. It's very important as well that the sponsor buys in and agrees to the key success factors, because you need to be able to rely on the sponsor should, for example, your influence not be big and bold enough to execute on key tasks that need to be carried out into the project. So, for example, if you're delivering a project where you've won a bit of business, or if you're delivering a project to get into a new market where you have clients, your sponsor needs to be able to interface with those clients and or deliver the project, which you might be working and supporting them on their behalf. And therefore, if they don't buy into the key success factors, you can't rely on them to support you when the teams within the project management office may be facing some key risks. They may be facing some areas where you're able to deliver the key success factors. So the sponsor needs to buy into the key success factors. Okay, you'll have a senior leadership team. You will have a steering committee. And again, you don't need to make an industry out of it, but the steering committee is where the decisions are made. So your senior leadership team could be, if you're from a small to medium enterprise up to a blue chip company, or you're delivering in a function within another business, you might have the CEO, the CFO, or the financial director, head of people, HR director. You might have a growth officer as well. So essentially the senior leadership team sometimes will have the sponsor within there also, but the senior leadership team are there to hold the steering committee accountable. And you can have them both in the same place for efficiencies when you're getting into governance, which we'll get into in a second. But these are essentially the decision makers. Okay. So once you've established these decision makers, the sponsors bought into the key success factors, you will have work streams. So let's think of a good example for this from small to large scale and complexity. And of course, with your work streams, you'll have your people as well. So let's say you're going to build a house. You will have the sponsor of the project, which might be yourself, or maybe you're a builder building a house for someone else. Your client will be your sponsor. Your senior leadership team, if you're the builder, you might be the site manager as well. You might have a quantity surveyor. You might have other trades like head of electrical, head of mechanical. If you're, there's maybe a bigger construction project, and they'll form your site team, which effectively would be your senior leadership team. In terms of steering, you might want to choose to have steering points on the agenda where you can look at the actual milestones of a certain project to ensure that the key decisions are made within the steering committee and they're agreed by the senior leadership team. Just going to sort out my camera. Okay, sorry folks, I may need to abandon this one and do a quick edit because my webcam has let me down, unfortunately. Well, I hope you can all see that name, so it's someone you don't use. Okay. All right, sorry folks, I will reconvene on Monday and I'll cover the same thing again. It's just unfortunate that this app that I'm using as a webcam, Elgato, don't use it. I'm not going to anymore. Have a good evening.